Right, let's do it. Let's go to the last category, which is the ugly category. Richard, what did you pick as the ugly point?
Well, just again, because remember, everybody, obviously, because people skip through these things because no one has an attention span anymore. This is obviously talking about over the course of the year, just all of the cheating and match fixing shit that's just gone on and hasn't been resolved, really. We've had all of the pieces in place, I think, for a while now to take a serious run at this problem. We've got the, ESIC, we've got a player union. We apparently have Valve paying more attention to these things and taking a more nuanced approach to how they deal with this stuff. Everything's been in place. Also, by the way, we know who the fuck's doing it. Can we stop pretending like there's any doubt that all of those cunts who were playing in the ESEA League weren't fixing games habitually, historically, safe in the knowledge that because they're Canadian, they can't be prosecuted and they can always fuck off to Valorant anyway? Can we just stop pretending that there was any doubt about these guys? And also, when a journalist asks you a question about it, just say no comment. Don't act don't act incredulous like, match fixing, what an outrageous question. You fucking did it. You're fucking guilty. We all know it. We've all seen the games. We've all seen the footage. We all know the betting patterns. Punters, by the way, can see the shift in the odds before you do it. You dickheads are sending Snapchats to each other with the fucking shoes you bought. What the fuck are you doing? So can we just fucking stop that pretense, please? It's an insult to everyone's intelligence. So, for me, the fact that the match fixing essentially killed grassroots in NA, made ESEA a bad joke, that entire league compromised beyond belief. Then on top of that, at the tier 1 level, sure, maybe match fixing's not going on, maybe people aren't using downloadable cheats or whatever, but the coaching bug was an absolute fucking disgrace, and that was going on behind the scenes for years. And in the online era, we'll never know how many results were compromised, or what teams could have won qualifiers, or who did what. It's just been a joke the last year of CS. There's been so many fucked up things that basically mean that you can't even trust the results. Yeah, and once you start doing that to a sport, is there a point? Well, no, obviously. You may as well just move to professional wrestling and just give the morons something to cheer about. So, I mean, yeah, I think, honestly, we took a massive hit to our integrity the last 2 years. And the disappointing aspect to it is we aren't punishing the guilty and the obviously guilty, and the apparatus that's supposedly there and was supposedly going to be a game changer actually hasn't really done that much, has it? I mean, ESIC's been painfully slow. The player union turned out to be a bad joke. And Valve, despite their constant intimation, we will take all of this very seriously, they haven't done enough to go and get these people. So yeah, it's been a rotten year for that.
Yeah, I think that we've kind of touched on this topic before, but I think one angle that kind of combines multiple takes we've had on previous episodes is that it's kind of the lack of any punishment at all is something that rubs me really wrong with this, because even if they dished out a punishment, and they served that time, that would just be so much better that for me than just hoping for eventual, I guess now, karmic retribution for these players. It's not going to happen in this lifetime that they're getting punished. But I'll think of a case, more kind of in the last few years. There was Effies and Strong Legs did some match fixing in 2018, but they served a punishment. And this is all public information. This isn't new. This shouldn't be news to anybody. And now they're on V1 and Renegades in the Valorant space. But and the thing is, no one really has to bring up the fact that they did that. But because there was a punishment.
To be fair to Strong Legs as well, just for the purposes of the podcast, he only bet on games that were fixed, and I think he always maintained his innocence, even though he took the punishment because he was an ESEA caster and they wanted to sort of distance themselves. So, make of that what you will. I don't buy his story. I've said that much, but, he didn't play in the games that were fixed. He just placed
he bet on
them.
Yeah. So, but to me, just the fact that there was a punishment, they were dealt, they serve that time
Yeah.
is just such a better position than what is, like the people you're referring to, Richard, in the Valorant space that are now just having thriving careers and never served any time. They never, like, that sets the worst precedent because it makes people think in the future that they can be, that could be them. That could be them in the future. If anything, it almost bolsters their brand just a little bit because people will hate watch them a little bit, and they might, Stockholm syndrome themselves into actually liking those people as streamers, and then that can just the fact that there's just
what
never,
you've got to look forward to, Maui, is of course the big wave of they're not really guilty. What's your evidence? And it's like, guys, we have to get to a point where you believe your eyes at least. You believe data, at least. Because this is exactly what we had going right back to the iBuyPower. If anyone watched that game, they were playing to lose. And yet people maintained, they just weren't trying, they were tired. What's wrong with having fun in a match? You can't turn up and not play anymore because it's all betting sponsors. Someone somewhere gets fucked if you do that as a player. So, I mean, look, the fact that it's just been so obvious for so long and no one's done anything. I mean, for fuck's sake. Just an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed for ESL that you're telling me you couldn't detect, like, match fixing. You're telling me you're not set up in any way to stop that. You're telling me an admin can't watch that game and see a team. There's this one team that always has disconnects whenever things are going bad. Or, wait, they were 12-0 up, and then they decided to start running through Molotovs and jumping while you can't figure this out. You need me to draw you a fucking diagram of what's going on in these games. It's embarrassing, mate. So, yeah, I agree. I think the worst part is the precedent it sets, mate, in the fact that they can just fuck off and have glittering careers. You may as well put up a sign saying, listen, fix all the matches you want in CS and then just go to Valorant. Like, just make that the blueprint of how to have a successful financial career. Because these guys made a fortune. This weren't $100 here, $100 there. It wasn't like $600 of skins. This is tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the space of a year or two. It's shocking. Shocking.
I don't have too long a point on this. I would say, first of all, I just hate the fact that Counter-Strike is so heavy, thanks to all this stuff the last few years, is so heavily associated with forms of cheating. Sometimes literal cheating even. Like, I hate the fact that that's even mixed in with the ambience of what the game is, because I think of other games in the esports space, Call of Duty, League of Legends, Dota 2, where are the cheating scandals in these games? Listen, there's match fixing. Notice I didn't include match fixing there. Like, you might think, what about match fixing? The difference is, the joke is this. Match fixing is a big deal in CSGO because we actually care about it. In every other esport, nobody cares about match fixing. In fact, in certain games, Riot Games, Blizzard Activision, they almost explicitly avert their eyes. It's like fucking Don't Look Now. That should be the title of the fucking match fixing documentary for Dota 2 or for fucking any of those games run by these people. Because in those games, spoiler, there's a certain country that exerts influence that has the same name as a female wrestler from the Attitude Era. Spoiler, right? The problem is, in those games, they're just corrupt by default. It's baked into the mixture. But the cheating aspect, I never hear about in those other games. Like, there's never even any debate. Like, is this new guy who's coming up in Call of Duty, is he cheating? Like, that's not even fucking discussed. So that's one thing I hate. I just feel like it taints the game a little bit. I will say the obvious distinction is this game dev of CSGO doesn't really do a hands-on approach. The other ones basically have like an iron fucking fist and just rule from the top without mercy. We'll just ban you forever. And obviously they can do it. They don't even try to do it on legal grounds. They just ban you if they don't like you in terms of service. So I do think that sucks. I'm not a fan of it. Obviously, it's a pretty good point for an ugly point. Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.